horror, fright, terror, panic, fear. Everyone has that distressing emotion aroused by impending danger, evil, or pain, whether the threat is real or imaginative. Fear is an evolutionary characteristic that was meant to ensure the survival of an organism. For example, humans fear snakes or tigers because they know that these creatures can kill them easily. Then there are phobias, which are at a new level of fear. Phobias are persistent irrational fears of specific objects, activities, or situations, which lead to a compelling desire to avoid them. Although some phobias can be proven logical, there are those that shouldn't even exist. After selecting 10 ridiculous phobias, we asked 100 people to rank them from 1 to 10, 10 being the most reasonable and 1 being the most idiotic. And so we begin with
Number 10.
In the classic movie, Home Alone, Kevin shows the complete opposite of fear when he finds himself protecting his house from bandits after he was left home alone for a couple days. On the other hand, most people get scared when the cat makes a sound in their empty house or when walking alone in the night and they feel their shadow following them. Creeping into number 10 in the countdown, is the simple fear of being alone, multiplied times 10. It is known as autophobia. People with autophobia are scared to not have anyone nearby, and they panic and aren't able to do anything. But autophobia isn't only the fear of being alone, it can also be the fear of oneself. You can probably imagine them living in a house with no mirrors, hunched up in a corner somewhere, and rocking themselves back and forth. The fact that they don't have mirrors is probably why they fear themselves and are scared to be left alone. It's a continuous cycle.
Number 9.
Everyone can probably agree that the bigger something is, the more power it has. But a person with microphobia may beg to differ. Sneaking into number 9 in the countdown is microphobia, the fear of small things. We can understand why people would fear ants in the classic film, Them, since they are as big as a car, but in reality, ants are way too small to even notice. So what exactly is scary about small things? Just like every other phobia, it highly depends on the person's external experiences and internal predispositions. But if you really thought about it, an extremely small object is troubling. That is to say, really small objects technically live in a whole different dimension, and yet humans seem to undermine this vast yet small world. Go figure.
Number 8.
When reading, solving a math problem, or simply observing, the brain is always thinking or forming thoughts. People have their own narrators while they read, a guide that leads them towards the solution of a math problem, or a personal friend to talk to when alone. When you're hungry, you might tell yourself, "I wonder what's in the fridge." Or when you see someone, you could think things like, "I like her shoes," or "what happened to his hair?" We've grown accustomed to hearing what seems to be our own voice in our heads, and never find it out of the ordinary. Forming into number 8 in the countdown is the fear of thinking, from emophobia. Believe it or not, there are people out there afraid to think. Now the question is if it makes them ignorant or extremely honest, perhaps an older model of a teenager.
Number 7.
Irony. An incongruity between what actually happens and what might be expected to happen. Dragging into number 7 in the countdown is a perfect example of irony. Hippopotamonstrosis quipedaliophobia is the fear of long words. You would expect the name of the phobia for the fear of long words to be small, and yet there are 35 letters in this word. The patient being diagnosed with this phobia will probably not have a good day, especially with everyone constantly asking what the diagnosis was.
Number 6.
Cars, airplanes, trains, and many other things were created to decrease the time it takes to get from one place to another, and they are very convenient because they do not require walking. But what if the people who created these forms of transportation feared walking? Rolling into number 6 in the countdown is ambulophobia, the fear of walking. Now there are of course people who highly dislike walking. However, They are not physically or psychologically impaired when they have to walk, unlike someone diagnosed with ambulophobia, who begins to panic. Then again, it is an absurd fear and might as well just be another excuse for being lazy. After all, it is psychological.
Number 5.
Among the features that distinguish mammals from reptiles or birds, is hair. Hair is all over the body in order to insulate and protect the body, but it also does a variety of other things. Hair is vital for the survival of mammals. Humans pay a lot of attention to hair, but not because of its vitality. Hair for humans is mainly to impress, and as a result, there are hair products, dyes, extensions, salons, and places to remove hair. Growing into number 5 in the countdown, is a phobia that is extremely hard to deal with because it is everywhere. It is named trichophobia, the fear of hair. Someone diagnosed with this phobia is likely to be hairless and avoiding the 7 billion people on this planet, who all have hair. Then again, everyone suddenly has trichophobia when they find a hair in their soup.
Number 4.
Someone who is blind has the obvious desire to be able to see the vibrant colors, the movement of objects, or the faces of loved ones. On the other side of the spectrum, there are those people diagnosed with optophobia, the fear of opening one's eyes. Seeing is one of the biggest blessings in life, but here are these people afraid to open their eyes. Surely, a blind person would love to talk some sense into these people, and make them see how blessed they are to see. Although life may be scary at times, a blue sky and green plants are without a doubt better than a never-ending black.
Number 3.
The person with the following phobia would probably not be able to finish this episode of Ironic Intelligence. Flying in as number 3 in the countdown is phobophobia, the fear of phobias. The crew and script writers couldn't really understand this phobia, but we believe enough was said.
Number 2.
Peanut butter is a healthy, delicious snack that most people enjoy. Because peanut butter in sandwiches wasn't enough, people began to make different products with peanut butter, like peanut butter cookies and ice cream. The only problem with peanut butter is that it sticks to everything in the mouth, especially the teeth. Then again, the roof of the mouth is also another place where it can stick, and it isn't a great feeling. Sticking as number 2 in the countdown is arachibutyrophobia, the fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of the mouth. What is very interesting is the fact that a person diagnosed with this phobia only fears when peanut butter sticks to the roof of the mouth, not anywhere else. Why, you ask? Who knows? They just don't want that peanut butter there, and so they panic. Maybe jelly can help and drag the peanut butter down the throat. We've counted the top 9 most ridiculous phobias. But what other phobia is so insane that it can surpass these 9?
Number 1.
Being afraid of one specific object, activity, or situation can be dealt with and treated. The problem is when there is more than one phobia. That is why, shining as number 1 in our countdown, is panphobia, the fear of everything. Now, a person diagnosed with panphobia is certainly disabled. It is technically impossible to live fearing everything. Someone can't possibly live in a fetal position with their eyes closed all their life. Oh wait, we live in a strange world, so maybe they can. Thank you for joining us on Ironic Intelligence and counting down the top 10 most ridiculous phobias. Phobia statistics say that 6.3 million Americans have a diagnosed phobia. That means 1 in 23 people has a phobia. So the question is, what do you fear?